Good morning, everyone. So yes, I'm going to talk about UFO this morning. I'm a psychology student, a PhD student in Belgium, and I'm also a member of a UFO group, a French UFO group. So the name of the group is CNEBU in French, and the translation of the name would be UFO Groups Northeast Committee. So we do lots of work in the northeast of France, like the name says, which means if there is a sighting happening in the northeast of France, like for those who know France, like Arles, Strasbourg, or Alsace, we try our best to investigate the case. So I like to talk about when I talk about the UFO phenomena, I like to talk about that metaphor, which is looking for a needle in the haystack. All the UFO sightings are like a big haystack, and the classical ufological approach is to look for the needle in there, try to look for the anomaly in there. And the way to do it classically, of course, is to try to explain the cases, the sightings, find mundane explanations, and try to eliminate all the cases that can be explained. And then at the end, you have what we call residual cases, and in those, we hope there is some kind of anomaly to be found. So that's the classic approach to ufology or UFO sightings. To give you an idea, in France we have an official UFO group, study group. It's attached to the CNES. So the CNES is the French NASA. It's a very small group, it's called the JPAN. And they have a big database of cases in France. And of course that database is updated all the time because some cases are explained, so they are moved in between the categories. They have several categories. But I checked yesterday where the numbers are. So for the moment, so the numbers for that official French government study group is 22% of the cases are unexplained, which means obviously that 78% of the cases are explained. And as a psychology students, and I think it could be for any human sciences, it's very interesting to study also the 78% of cases that are explained. So myself as a researcher, I'm more interested in the haystack than in the needle. I'm trying to understand what's going on, what's going on with those cases that we can explain from a psychological or sociological point of view. So in the psychosocial model, there are in the literature a number of mechanisms that are discussed to account for those cases. There are what we call simple mistakes, elaborate mistakes. I will explain those two later. And of course, that's more obvious, hallucinations, false memories, and hoaxes. Simple mistakes are the most common cases in the UFO database. In all the cases, simple mistakes are cases where the witness sees something, but really only fail to recognize what it is. So the usual suspects are obviously airplanes, helicopters, also the planet Venus at some period where it's very bright. Sky tracers in the 80s were also a big source of simple mistakes. And more recently, there's lots of mistakes. That category is tie lanterns. It's becoming very popular in Europe to have tie lanterns. So, if for those who don't know, it's just you have some flame inside, and it's like a balloon, like that lift in the air, and there's no sound. So, and it's flying around, and you have several of them. Like you can have a group, and then people see a pattern, and they think it's a UFO. And the fact that there is no sound usually is interpreted by the witness like a proof it's not something. It's not an airplane because there's no sound, which is right, but it's a tie lantern. And in my UFO group, we have done lots of studies on lots of work on mistakes with the moon. At first, it can be quite surprising that people will mistake the moon for a UFO, but we have validated that hypothesis in some cases. It's very specific, actually. It's when the moon is setting down at the horizon. The shape of the moon, there's an optical effect, and the shape of the moon is changing. The color also is changing. It's becoming like reddish. And people who see that, they see just that object at the horizon setting down, and they think, they will say it's a UFO that's landing or disappearing. Yes, behind the mountain, for example. So, I'm coming to my case study. The idea is, I found André, so of course it's a false name that I'm proposing for that witness. I found André on a UFO forum, and he was talking about what I thought at first was some kind of abduction event. So I was very interested because, as you probably know, there's not so many abductees in Europe. It's very common. It's more common in America, so it's kind of probably like a culture-bound syndrome. There are lots of abductees in America, very few in Europe. So I was like, oh yeah, if he does an abductee, I should go investigate some more. So I met him at his house and interviewed him. So what his testimony was, he would had lots of sightings. He said he could see UFOs almost every day. He had the feeling that his mind would be controlled by alien from time to time. He reported also some sleep paralysis episode, and he had very vivid dreams about what he called big greys. So we all know the little greys, but he told me they were greys but taller. So I call them big greys. He's not the only one who talks about big greys, but it's kind of unusual because people talk more about little greys. So he had vivid dreams about them. And also he talked to me about having seen a ball lightning in his own bedroom, like flying in front of him. So of course I realized it's not an abductee. It's not an abductee because he's not claiming that he's abducted by alien. He didn't say, I went in a spaceship and they did some experiment to me. He was more talking about the grays controlling his mind. And at the end of the interview, he started talking about the fact that he was seeing a psychiatrist and that he was taking medicine now, and all those phenomena disappeared, so he wasn't seeing UFOs anymore, he didn't have visions of grays anymore. So yeah, it's a case of, it's a fair bet to say it's psychological, psychopathological in nature. But I was quite intrigued by that case because in the UFO literature, the ufologists tend to not talk about those cases. If a ufologist is, find that kind of case, he will not publish it usually. So I was looking in the literature if I could find someone else who talked about that kind of subject, and I did. In 2010, Marrakis, with a French psychiatrist, did his PhD on the UFO phenomena. And in his PhD thesis, I found there's only one page about it, but he talks about the 9 contactees he interviewed, and they had a very similar profile to the one I saw. Some of them thought they were hybrids, part alien by human themselves, or there was some variation, but more or less they all had the same. It was very similar. Only 2 of the subjects he saw had a psychiatric past, so saw a psychiatrist in the past. And his diagnosis was that they were clearly all suffering from paraphernalia, so paranoid ideation, paranoid delusions. And my conclusion. So yeah, I wanted to say, even if rare, there must be UFO sightings that are explained by hallucinations. Why am I saying that? Because in the UFO literature, you don't find that. It's very it's a taboo subject. It's an explanation that people don't want to talk about, which is strange because there must be some cases where, even if it's very, very, very rare, there should be some. Actually, in my review of the literature so far, I found one ufology, one book where the authors suggest for one case that the hallucinations could be the explanation for the case. In all the books I read about UFOs, so it's kind of really a taboo. We should also study unidentified witnesses. Ufologists tend to study cops or military people, and they don't investigate the kind of subject I talked about. I think we should talk about those subjects too if we want to understand the haystack and just not focus on the needle. It's interesting to see also those people. And last but not least, I think we could make the hypothesis at this point that there are two types of contactees. The cult leader type, the more obvious type that we think about, like Adamski or Real, who create a cult, who are probably manipulating people to create that cult. And another type of contactees that we don't talk about or think about, who are people like that who suffer from psychopathological issues and have the feeling